Well, that's a very big question. Given the movements and migrations in the world today and the global world we live in, meaning that there are many populations that are displaced and that are elsewhere, and that languages therefore are all mixed up and they're all over the world and they're changing all the time and evolving. I think it's very important if we want to be sensitive culturally to others, what we call others. You really ought to begin with the language. That's the starting point. If you want to pretend to have some sense of what the other is experiencing, you need to begin with the language. And so that apprenticeship places you in the space of translation. When you see how another language names an object or expresses an experience, and you measure how that might be different from your language, how your language names that same object, or how your language describes or expresses that same experience. And so once you begin that journey, you are in the space of translation, and you might then come to the thought that if languages express the same reality differently, is it really the same reality? To what extent might the language you speak be constitutive of the reality that you perceive? And that's a very interesting thought, and that's the beginning of the recognition of a true recognition of difference, or recognition of true difference amongst cultures. And so, I'm using the language I'm using is not precise; it's inaccurate because I'm speaking about your language and their language, and that's wrong because a foreign language ceases to be foreign with the first word that you speak in that language. And that also affects your own language. Your own language then, your own sense of your own language changes there. And things get mixed up. And that mixity, that immixation of cultures, that's what translation is really about. And we all experience it, especially in New York, certainly very much in New York it's dominant. And I think translation is a way to help us understand that reality.